Hey there, hope you're doing good. We'll continue with our refactoring of Futurecam. We will look at this item today. All booleans should have a prefix like is or has or should. For example, show long press. It should be should show long press or has shown long press, something like that. So this looks like a function. It is telling you to do something, but it's not. It's a bool, right? So it looks like this is never used. This function show necessary hints. Let's look at all of these. Show long press is not used here. Show long press is not used here either. Nor here. So great. The only thing better than renaming something is removing it. Does the implementation also not use it? Oh great. Neither the caller nor the implementation uses it. Is tripod blind? Should drop out. This should be was. If it is describing something in the past, it should be was. Oh, it's like that's also never used. Makes me wonder how much dead code there is in the project. This is in process. Should return is clear. Is raw photo is clear. So this function saves a photo. Optionally, it can add a watermark before saving. So now the thing is, in Swift convention, you try to make it like English. So this one, when you invoke it this way. I'll just type it here. Save whatever, A, B, whatever, with watermark true. So, it reads like English. Save with watermark true. So now the question is, if I put should watermark or something like this, the flow is disrupted. It's no longer readable as an English sentence, which goes against Swift guidelines. So how can we, is there a way to put a word like should without breaking the guideline? I don't think so. Let's move on. Is zoomed out, is recording, set is recording, is something. Yeah, here, reset zoom. Reset zoom. I think this is not even used. Oh no, it is used. True and false. Oops. If you find a parameter and it's always called with true or always called with false, you can remove the parameter. Set device, reset zoom, true. If you just say zoom, it could be mistaken to be a zoom level like 1.0 or 1.5 or 2.0. But reset zoom sounds like a bool. Should would not be the right thing because you're telling it to reset the zoom. Let's move on. Is recording is fine. Is should. Is saving. Is something on. Are multiple cameras selected. Used tele. Have used tele. I think the name itself tells you it is true or false. Did you use tele? Yes or no? Like how else can it be interpreted? If it just says tele, you can interpret it as a reference to the camera object that represents the telephoto camera, the multiple cameras. But is used, which is true or play shutter sound at. Yeah, this could be interpreted as a sound file, right? Play shutter sound colon a dot mp3, right? Which means play this a dot mp3 as the shutter sound. Could be interpreted that. So how can we clarify it? Should play shutter sound. Yeah, that would be better. So basically, say it aloud or imagine writing some code and see how the call site looks. So this is when a global refactoring. Oh, I guess I'll have to search here. Okay, let me just make a note in Sublime. We can come to it later. I don't want to lose these search results. Using video. Video is video data output, which is a way of capturing photos. Basically, you can open the camera in photo mode where you tell it take a photo and then it gives you a photo. Or you can open it in video mode. A video is just a sequence of photos that are automatically generated. You don't need to make a call for each of. So let's look at using video. I think this would be clearer as used. Oh, I think what this captures is before you create this object was the camera using tele. You can control click here, unfortunately. Is using tele. Yeah, it's true. Are you using the tele camera? Because this class itself can change the camera. So that is why we are storing the earlier camera where we're using telephoto. So now you can see how this can be ambiguous. When you say used tele, does it mean you this class used tele or Does it mean we were using tele before this class was created, this object was created? So this needs to be refactored. Since multiple files are required, we'll have to do it later. Let's make a note. Used tele was using tele or was in tele mode. This is unnecessary, 4 words and stuff. Okay, let's move. We were looking at something else, using video. I think we are always using. So you can see the complexity that arises when you have a class that can work in different ways internally. That makes it very powerful. It can do a lot. It covers a wide range of use cases, abstracting out the details. But it does make it harder to work with, which is fine. This is essential complexity, complexity that's there for a good reason, not accidental complexity, which is complexity that was there because people didn't think it through properly. All right, so using video, what should we? Is using video. Yes, that sounds good. If it's private, I wish I could see the git diffs here. Okay, we'll get to the diffs later. Play shutters on this, we have noted out, noted in supply. Prefer status bar hidden. This is clear. I think this is an iOS convention, which we should change, even though it may technically be better. See, animated bool. So Xcode auto generates this. Don't bother. Is something happening? Update. This is really bad. What is update condition? It doesn't say what true means. Say false. Okay, it means reset. If update condition is true, it means you are resetting only one. Update condition. Oh, this is never used. A tooling like Xcode or any of the 4 5 code analysis tools I used don't flag these kind of data. It's private, so if it is not used here, it's okay. You will appear, you will appear. Is recording. Show burst count. Is saving. Is first launch. Should show. God. If you want to show it, you're setting it to hidden. It should be the other way around, shouldn't it? Oh, we still haven't figured out where to put it. So it's just, oh, so the technical info is never shown. Technical info dot. You're never assigning false to it. So it's, so let's simplify this code. Should show I think initially also it is. Okay, so let's take a step back. Self.technical info. Okay. So this is not showing arbitrary data, it is about showing technical info. So since it's overloaded because this is a view controller and view controllers have an inbuilt show method which Apple provides. Ours is a different show. Yeah, okay. So why on earth does a function need to be provided a reference to a property? It has access to it. Oh, because it's changing. Okay, never mind. This makes sense. Then can this be static? It's not using anything in self, right? This is the parameter. This is the argument, the property on it. This is a global function. This is the argument. Is hidden. Remove from superview. That's it. So make everything static that can be static. Show technical info. See, the other problem with a function with a name called show is it implies it will be shown. It should be set technical info shown. This comes across as either show it or not. If you have a function called show, you'll think it will always show. If you have a function called hide, you'll think it will always hide. There's a more swifty way of doing it, which would be this. Static func set technical info UI label whatever shown bool. You would define it this way. Now when you call it this way. Set this shown true. Whereas the way you call this existing function, I just put some white spaces to show to separate the old from the new. This is the old function. The way you would call this is set the earlier version before my date. Set true to technical info video label. Like what does this mean? You're setting the label to true, but labels are they show a text. It's not a checkbox that can be set to true or false. The setting whether it's hidden or shown. So suppose you improve it. Set shown. No, earlier it was show. Show true. Are you showing the word true on the screen? What does this mean? So set shown true technical info. So basically you can, if you're reading this code with some effort, figure out what it is. But even better to just put this first. Set this to be shown as a sentence. And then the only problem is this sounds generic. Can I show or hide anything? For example, the camera. If I want to hide the camera, can I do set camera shown true? It sounds like from the signature it can, but it can't. It's only for technically. So maybe we can do this. You use you, clarity is more important than reading as an English sentence. Shouldn't be misinterpreted. So now set technical info. The way you would use this. Set technical info shown. Visible is better actually. You're setting the visible. So let's save it. Set technical info visible. True. Set info peak label visible. True. I think this would be even clearer. You shouldn't have to read all of this to understand the purpose of the function, which is where I disagree with the Swift convention. So set technical info visibility, and both of these can be optional. I mean, the keyword, when you put this, it means a keyword is not required. So you invoke it this way. You don't use keyword arguments for either of these because it has set technical info visible or visibility. Set technical info visibility. True. This is clear as day. So let's go with this. We have to change the order. The guy who wrote this somehow likes using self dot for everything. Yeah, we are already at column 99 if you see in the bottom right of the screen. Can't. Set technical info visibility. You don't need ease here because visibility is true or false. Set technical info visible. Yeah, visible sounds better. More clear that it is Boolean, either it's visible or not. Yeah, is that right? Sometimes you forget the basics. Yes. Okay, let's move on. This is private. Oh, it should be self. In fact, now that it is static, you can't do self. You have to do main controller dot. I find that to just be noise. So I just make it file private global, which is more readable at the call site. Oh, this is anyway, this is not within the class, is it? No, it is within the class. There you go. Should auto rotate. This should be is verification fail. So this is used in SS. This is the argument. Because there's also a function named verification. We are not talking about. Only one frame. Should we capture only one? Should capture only one frame. No, I think it's just adding more words without clarifying. You're creating a settings and you're saying only one frame true. Settings will capture only one frame. So basically this object is used to take a photo. Before you take a photo, create this object and you set these parameters and then use that object. So when in doubt, write some code that uses it. Let settings equal to AV capture photo bracket settings. Camera is camera, duration is whatever the duration, ISO is whatever, 30. Only one frame true. Alternatively, the code could look like this. Capture only one frame. Yeah, this is clearer. Telling it to capture only one. Oh, otherwise it captures 4. So should we say capture one frame instead of 4? No, I think that's too wordy. Since this is not private, we'll just make a note in Sublime. Only one photo. Capture only one photo. Only one frame. What did we decide about the watermark? We decided it's fine. Yeah, success is understood to be true. Present safely. There are no results. In the previous search. I think iOS uses animated without. See present animated bool. So that's a convention. In this case, we can purchased, app purchase. Has purchased IAP. IAP is in-app purchase. As the user purchased it. Because the user can also pay upfront in the App Store. The older way of paying for apps like 10 years back, which is still there. This is not toggle, it is set. Because toggle means if you call it twice, it will get back to what it was. But here, if you call it twice with true and it was false earlier, it remains true. So it's not. You should revisit all the functions that are named toggle because clearly someone did. It. 41 items. Set video playback duration label. A negative argument hides the timer, but here it gives an error. Remove the old. If you change the code to match the documentation, you could risk introducing a bug. Surprisingly, IEEE 754, which is a floating point format, its reminder can produce a negative value. So basically, if it has taken 70 seconds, right? You don't want to show 70, you want to show 1 minute 10 seconds. That's what this code is trying to do. So it divides the seconds by 60 to get the minutes and it converts it to an integer. So it's a whole number of minutes, like 1 or 2, not 1.12. So the minutes component in this case is 1. Now 70 minus 60, if you do, you get 10. So this will always produce a positive value. But if you use this, which uses the IEEE 754 reminder algorithm, it produces negative. Anyway, let's move on. Set video playback is recording. With 0. You don't set a label with. So in again iOS style, in order to make it sound like an English sentence, they try to use prepositions. Sometimes people use it when it doesn't make sense, but that's okay. We are moving far away from what we should be working on. In this case, sync is okay because iOS has a standard function called sync to execute something sync. Being debugged is being debugged. This detects if a debugger is connected to the code. As paid is clear. Should force refresh. Verify receipt. Yeah, let's start this. True, true. Wait, are there multiple refresh receipts here? One is on IAP service. This is also an IAP service. This is on Swifty Store Kit. Oh, purchase. Okay. So this is not our code, so we shouldn't mess this up. Okay, so basically it's clear. Should force refresh. This has become too long. Apple's in-app purchase code adds enormous complexity. Took maybe a month to write. Walled garden, right? They can get away with it. Of course, you can opt out by building a Flutter app instead of working with Apple's APIs. Anyway, yeah, this is the one that should not be changed. I think we have accumulated enough changes. Let's review them. Show long press, whatever that means. I don't even know what it's intended to mean, so I'm glad we got it. This is in process. Is using video. Why is it in 2022 we don't have good dead code elimination? Why is it not automatic? Set technical info visible. See how much more readable it is if it is being debugged. If it is being debugged. All these are changed except for the call to Swifty store kit. Okay. So I think we have accumulated enough. Let's commit them. Prefix some booleans by is, should, etc. Let's go back to Sublime. This is done. Purchased IAP. Has purchased IAP. Oh, there's some more results. So we should change all of them except for this, because if you change the key in storage and you deploy the app, then you'll have two keys with two values stored. So user defaults is persistent storage. You can store some key value pairs and it's stored on disk and it remains for the next run. So you should maintain the key, otherwise when you try to read it, you're not reading the whole pair. So let's do it manually. This key should be changed. This should not be changed as discussed. Okay. Only one frame. What have we decided? Capture only. This used daily. Oh, there are two variables. Hmm. Oh, it is not what it. So we discussed earlier, the frame producer can change the camera, which it does here. So this is afterwards. So basically, we need documentation. Whether the frame producer chose to use a daily camera for this capture. This is not applicable in some situation. So was anyway, now I need to change it. Argument to log is verification failure. Is verification failure. NSLog is a different API. Apple's API. I don't think I have the Swift formatter installed here. That's why I have. Okay, now it. Though I don't think this is specific to Swift, so VS Code should not. Great. Now let's look at diffs. Is verification failure? Should play shutter sound. It's not whether the frame producer chose to use the tele. It may be that tele was already active before the frame producer was created. Whether the tele camera was used for this capture. Doesn't matter whether it was whether the decision was taken by the frame producer to use a telecamera or it was already using the telecamera. That doesn't matter. Just says whether the telecamera was used. Missed this. What was this? Okay, capture has purchased IoT. So okay. We still need to look at type inferenced booleans. So you can say var something equal to true. So earlier we searched for colon bool to find all the bools. It's searching and finding a million of them. If so, I'll just stop it. Checks is 50, 93. Yeah, we can just go through. Is yes, very good. Is captured improperly. Really should be is captured properly. Avoid double negative. Okay, now tap to focus while recording. Has tap to focus while recording or tap to focus? Yeah, tap to focus is like what else can has started session. You can make it has started session. See here the type was never mentioned because it was inferenced in both. Is initialized. Again, initialized is anyway. Is initialized. Don't change the debug info. It is logged to Firebase, right? You can do an SQL query and all that. That will break if you change it. to focus while recording. So sometimes the problem is if you add too many of this, becomes very long. Has tab to focus while recording key. I'll just leave it alone. Was permission locked? This is an iOS thing. It's to box. Deselected. This is all UI. Hides when stopped. Has. Is again iOS code. Is again iOS code. Oh, I was hoping this will be the last scroll. This is iOS. Is should is should is render format. No, this is iOS again. Is should is 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 has is has finished writing. I don't know why some felt the need to say it's a bool. It's has already switched cameras. Yeah, this is true or false. That's good. I can just go through this. Generally, you don't do equal to true equal to. Oh, it's an option. Is should is synchronous. Basically, any question you ask which has an obvious yes or no answer doesn't need further prefixes like is or should. For example, shows horizontal scroll indicator. Does it or does it not show a horizontal scroll indicator? You don't need more than that. Okay. The advantage of me going through this exercise is it also helps me improve my coding skill. Like I know one of the areas I need to improve in is I sometimes create booleans that don't have a prefix like is or was or should. So that is something I need to keep in mind to improve myself as an engineer. If you don't do this periodically, you will have certain habits and you won't know what they are, which can be. This is the only way you'll get that. It's funny to have three commit commits with the same message. All booleans do have a prefix. Yes. Done. All right then. I'll see you in the next video.